He's going to make the call. And 8-3 will go into the muck for Chuck Fury in the big blind. Out of position, 6-5 suited for Keith versus pocket threes for Eric Baldwin. Both miss the flop. All high cards.
Check. Check, check.
Check, check. Both check. On the turn. Pairs the queens. Dangerous looking board. Keith Tilson, of course, holding nothing, decides to check. Eric is going to bet now. Good bet. Your opponent's checked to you twice. Yes, it's a dangerous board, but put out a little bet. See if you can pick up the pot. He's bet 3,000. Keith Tilson has a bit of a decision. He's offered a call of 3,000 into a pot of 8,200. The club on the turn has given him a low flush draw. So what he's trying to determine is, if I call and if I make my flush, number one, am I already beat by a full house because the board is paired? And number two, will I get it paid off? The odds aren't there to make the call, but if you thought that your opponent would pay you off on the river, you could make the call. It's a close one. He's low on chips. He's going to let it go. Eric Baldwin picks up a nice little pot. The action continues at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship.
I'm Eric Baldwin. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Outside of poker, I'm currently a college student. I have one semester left of that, and then I plan to keep playing poker. My favorite online poker site, obviously, is Party Poker.
And why is that?
Party Poker is the sponsor of this tournament. I think poker is so popular because it gives anybody, your average Joe, the chance to be on TV and also a shot at getting lucky and winning a ridiculous amount of money.
The end of day one, you'll recall, was a time function. We played 5 levels of play, so the players are looking up the clock and they know they got to last another 15 minutes and they're hanging on and they're fatigued. Day 2 doesn't work that way. And day 2, we played down to 27 players. So now what the players are doing is they're looking up the clock. They see that right now there's 29 players left. 2 more players go broke. We're done for the day. They get to go relax, have a nice supper, whatever they need to do. So now there's this really hidden undercurrent in which people are really cheering for the people to go bust. So you hear it, all in call in number 7, and the crowd, the rail, everyone rushes over to see, does someone go bust? Because we bust 2 more players, we're done for the day, you get to go relax, have a martini, kick back, get ready to play again tomorrow. It's right at the end of the day almost. Back to the action at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. We are in the closing hands of level 7. Blinds are 300 and 600 with a 75 chip ante. We are also in the closing hands of day 2. We're going to play until there are 27 players left in the field, and then we're going to shut her down and come back for day 3. Vernon Cotto, 8, King of Diamonds. He will fold. Ray Sanchez folds. Ace Deuce offsuit for Eric Baldwin. Fold. Troy Otto folds. Queen 9 offsuit on the button for Keith Tilson. It's not a strong no-limit hand, but in fact, with only 2 players behind him, it's favored over 2 random hands. And he will make it 1,600 to go. Small blind folds, and Francis Wapinski in the big blind with a Jack-10 will call the 1,600.
No, I don't even detect a half crack of a smile.
Top pair for Francis. Second pair for Keith Tilson. Francis checks.
Is Captain
Keith trying to put a read on him. trying to decide whether or not his second pair is good.
Is that the captain all in? Yeah. Is captain still alive?
On an outer table, we're hearing Captain Tom Franklin all in.
Yeah, I'm pretty close.
Keith is going to bet 2,500 into the pot of 6,600. Francis moves all in. That's going to be a raise to 7,000 flat. Keith owes 4,500 into a pot of 13,600. He's got second pair. The only real way he should make this call is if he believes Francis has a draw or is bluffing. He doesn't have the odds to call against Francis's actual hand, which is top pair. Keith has only 5 outs. A 9 or a queen. He's going to give it some thought. We've seen before that Keith is a contemplative player. Jim Miller has announced, by the way, that Captain Tom Franklin survived his all-in on one of the outer tables.
Just got a bus tax here and then 2 more.
We're actually at 30 players left, and they will play this day down to only 27 players. A lot of pressure on Keith trying to make this decision. 3 more players go bust. You come back to play again the next day.
Agonizing.
He's getting short on chips. He makes the call.
Come on.
He's not going to be happy. He needs a 9 or a queen on the turn
All in.
or the river. The dealer calls all in at the feature table. That means that one of Meg Prentice or Jim Miller, the tournament directors, needs to arrive and call the hand. They call it on the overhead speaker system so that all the players in the room can follow the action at the other tables.
This one is an all-in on the flop. The flop right now is a 9 deuce jack, 2 spades.
Meg Prentice arrives to call the hand.
Queen 9, offsuit.
King of spades would be a nice card to see.
Troy Otto calls for a king of spades
Well, that gives
just
him
to
a-
make
that
it
gives him
exciting.
A straight draw and flush draw.
King of spades would give a
King of
straight
spades.
draw and a flush
King
draw.
of spades.
King of spades!
Now I'm not playing a hand.
All right.
You're going to call cards. What are you calling now?
The Michigan Kreskin has
I'm just
called
gonna go
King of Spades.
queen
That gives
of
Keith a few more
diamonds.
outs. He's still a big dog.
Queen of diamonds. Tex lives. Oh man.
No good. Francis Wipinski stacks another one. Francis, who was down to the felt not long ago,
Oh man.
stacking another pot. And Keith Tilson has been eliminated. That leaves the feature table short a couple of players. We can expect to see another player moved onto our television table from one of the outer seats. And in fact, Captain Tom Franklin himself, who we moments ago heard survive an all-in assault on one of the outer tables, has now been moved into the feature table. Captain Tom, who is our last remaining big-time pro, has developed a real cordial relationship with Troy Otto. They played beside each other on day 1, and now here they are back beside each other at the tail end of day 2. Troy Otto, ace, queen of spades in the big blind. Francis folds. Watch Lothar. He analyzes the situation. Now he looks at his cards. Now he folds. Ace-5 suited for Vernon. Vernon makes it 2,000 to go. I mentioned Lothar's play there only because I like to see that. A player who is figuring out the situation that he is in before he looks at his cards. Analyzing his opponents. Troy Otto in the big blind, ace of spades, queen of spades, facing a raise from Vernon Cotto. Vernon's made it 2,000 flat. Troy is thinking back to the fact that earlier Vernon was going to make it 4,000 with ace-8 offsuit. Troy's re-raising. Nice play. He's got the best hand. Ray Sanchez takes his seat again, in between the two combatants. 5,000 more back to Vernon Cotto, who makes the call.